Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Dorothy. I'm a professional astrologer. You can find me on the web at nhastrologer.com and find me on Facebook, Dorothy Morgan Astrologer. I appreciate if you would share these videos, especially the ones you love, on your social media. Keeps me here, and I love to be here. Today I want to talk to you who are Capricorn or those with Capricorn rising. And this is for April, May, and June. Just a few highlights of each month just to help you out. So I want to start with the full moon lunar eclipse that we have on April 4th. It's at 14 degrees of Libra, is in your 10th house of career, your career sector. So this is a major focus for you. Did you make a shift in October? Last October 8th, we had an eclipse, a full moon eclipse like this one. It was at 13 degrees of Libra. Last April as well, we even had a year ago at this time, we had a great cardinal cross, and it was at that 13th degree. So this is being triggered once again with the eclipse on April 4th. So your career is going through some sort of shift, whether you intentionally mean it to happen or not, you're going through it. So go with the flow and let those things that are you're kind of releasing and letting go, let them go. And if you are needing to make some changes, I would recommend that you do it. And you should know what they are. And I really hope that you do. Because if you don't, well, then you get a hold of me. I can help you out with that. Okay? All right. Find that logical, concrete information. That's what the astrology of our own personal charts will give us. But this eclipse, you know, the clues of what you can do with this here on April 4th. And, you know, eclipses are super powerful energies. They are not easygoing full moons and new moons. They are supercharged. So whatever is going on in that 10th house, it's usually about the career. Sometimes it's about what your social status is. So it could even be, you know, a marriage thing. Whether you're single, married, whatever, it's your social standings out in the world. So that is going through some adjustments. But your clue will be what was happened in October. It could be some type of finishing up of a process now, or at least a realization of what happened back then. Is you're going to work through it now if you hadn't completed it in October. So let's just move on. April 8th. Jupiter, stationary direct at 12 degrees of Leo. Now that was the same place it was at in mid-September. So, hey, look back again. Since you're already looking back to October 8th, look back to the middle of September of last year. See what was going on for you there. This is Jupiter stationary, and it's been retrograde for months now in your 8th house, and that 8th house is outside resources. Tends when Jupiter moves through that 8th house, finances shift for us. So our outside resources shift, and usually it's to a, you know, for in a better way. But as it was, since it's been retrograde for a few months now, 3-4 months now, it usually means that we're redefining what it is. You know, how much money do we owe? How do I pay it back? Sometimes inheritances show up when Jupiter moves through that 8th house. Which is kind of stinky, because if there's an inheritance, that means somebody's passed. But this is the way of life. So there's a few things going on here. So with Jupiter making its station and then finally moving forward, that energy is coming up. We also have on June 5th, you know, Venus will enter that area moving into the sign of Leo. So it will enter that area, and eventually at the end of June it was going to meet up with Jupiter. So whatever's been going on for you since September, has been, you know, there's been some growth, and then there's just been some backpedaling a little bit, and now there'll be some growth again, especially once Venus catches up with Jupiter as well in that sector. So that'll be financially pretty positive for you who have Capricorn rising. But let me get back to April. So on April 16th, we have Pluto making a retrograde motion. That's going to be in your first house. It's at 15 degrees of Capricorn. That'll be in your first house. And so you are going through your own shifts and changes. It's been going in there for years and years, depending on what degree is your rising sign. But it's been going on in that area for a long time. So you're a person who's just changing this lifetime. You're going to look back a few years from now and just wonder who you were at this point. It's going to be very different for you. April 18th, we have a new moon at 28 degrees of Aries. That is in your 4th house, and that 4th house is home, family, and how you define your home and family in a very Aries way. If you have Aries down there, then that just means that you're always changing things. You're a go-getter. You know, you might have a lot of projects at home that aren't finished, but hey, whatever, that's okay. The Capricorn in you might find time to finish them. We'll see. But with that new moon in that 4th house, you can set some new goals as to what you need at home, what you need in regards to your relatives, whether it's your spouse, your parents, your spouse, your siblings, whatever it is that you need, how you need to be cared and nurtured for. That new moon is going to highlight that area for you on April 18th. Now, I want to move on to May. May, we have a full moon at 13 degrees of Scorpio. That's in your 11th house. That is a very social area of our charts. It's where our friends reside in a way, and the groups that we belong to, the causes that we're interested in. It's high tech at times. It's our computer stuff. It's our social media. It's all of those things. And so when you have a full moon in Scorpio there, what are you going to give up? Are you giving up a friend? Are you going through a transition with the friend right now? It doesn't mean that you're giving them up, but are you going through some type of transition? Are you changing the groups that you're members of, that you're a member of? What's going on in that regard, okay? Keep it open. This full moon will show us what it is that we need to know, so we should be able to easily let go of things. Don't resist the changes that are happening in your friendships and your group activities. Don't resist those changes, okay? On May 7th, Venus in the sign of Cancer, it moves into Cancer, into your 7th house of partnerships. So that would ask me what I value in my partnerships. I value being close. I value being cared and nurtured for. Is that happening? Do you need to bring that up to your partner? Or if you're in a business partnership with somebody, there needs to be a component of compassion and emotion to connect, so you can stay business partners in a little more of an intimate way. Not intimate that way, but just intimate, so you can really understand each other on an emotional level and work better as partners. On November, I'm looking at May right now. I have my notes here. I'm trying. May 11th, I try not to look at them, but I just can't remember it, even though I'm on Capricorn. May 11th, Mars moves into the sign of Gemini. And this is the beginning of a very active 6th house for you for May and June. So because Gemini is highlighted this time of year, and Mars is moving into Gemini early. It's just moving in when it's moving in, but it's ahead of the sun. And so in your 6th house, that 6th house is my health, your daily health, your overall health. It's not a specific thing, but it is your overall health, all right? It is also Gemini energy, which is the lungs and the arms, this area. You can't see it because I don't have the camera low enough. Anyways, Mars in Gemini, it's also communication in that 6th house. There's going to be a lot of activity. Your daily routine should be going through some sort of shift now, and especially lots of driving. Your job might shift enough where you're going to have to drive more than you're accustomed to. This will take about 6 weeks for Mars, 7 weeks actually, for Mars to move through this zodiac sign, to move through this sector of your chart. So expect a lot of movement and activity in regards to your daily routine. The daily routine includes, you know, what your routine is. Getting up, brushing your teeth, because daily health is important, like brushing teeth, eating correctly, so we have the fuel that the body needs to get us through the day. It's also our work, the daily routine of our work and our co-workers. There's a lot going on in this department for you. Mars kicks it off by lots and lots of action, okay? Now, the new moon we have this month on May 17th on the West Coast. May 18th on the East Coast. And if you want to know the details of that, I will write that forecast out as it comes up, all right? They get posted on my website, nhastrologer.com, when we get closer to that period, usually within a week or so of the new moon or the full moon. This new moon at 26 degrees of Taurus is in your 5th house, and that 5th house is what I'm passionate about, what I love to create. You have Taurus, that sign of beauty, in your 5th house, and the new moon is there, so you really could take the time now for the next month while this has been highlighted and focus on what is beautiful for you, what you're passionate about. I'd recommend it. We need to always engage our passion and our creative abilities to keep life, to keep us happy in life. We can't just be all in our head and thinking too much. And I say that because Mercury goes retrograde on the 18th. That's going to be in your 6th house. It's in the sign of Gemini. And Gemini is an air sign. Now, all 3 of the Mercury retrogrades this year are in the 3 air signs: Aquarius, Gemini, and then Libra. We've already had the Aquarius one. We're having the Gemini one from May 18th to June 11th. All right. So I want you to keep in mind, again, this is in your 6th house. So while you're making all kinds of activity, because Mars is there, Mars is really kicking some fire up in your daily routine, and all those other things I mentioned, roll back and write them down. I'm not going to repeat. And Mercury retrograde wants you to slow down. That's just what I said. Hit rewind. Mercury retrograde, rewind. Go back and listen to what that 6th house is all about. It's all about that daily routine. Mercury retrograde in that area from May 18th to June 11th tells us that we need to slow down. That's for you, Capricorn, with Capricorn rising. Now, we'll move on. June 14th, Saturn returns to Scorpio. It will be in the sign of Scorpio until May 18th. No, until September 18th. June 14th to September 18th in your 11th house. Now, we started with that because of a full moon that we had on May 3rd. June 14th, Saturn's going to scoot back into the 11th house. It's going to give you the opportunity to really see who and what groups you belong to, if they truly match what it is that you want and need in your life. Do they truly match it? Saturn is about that foundational piece. Scorpio is breaking down what isn't strong. So for 2.5 years, the last 2.5 years, 2014, 13, and part of 2012, Saturn in Scorpio was all about breaking down things that were not intended to be part of our life going forward. And for you, that was in the 11th house. And that would be your friendships and the groups. And we change. We change. When we move forward and our friends aren't moving with us, they just get left behind. We've been left behind by others. We do the same thing to other people as well. Just because we grow, everybody grows apart. Not everybody, but a lot of people. So allow this to be. Saturn will show us this from June to September. It's going to show us the final piece that we need so we can feel comfortable with the changes that have happened since 2012. This is major for people. This is a major thing for people. There's just so many shifts and changes that we've all gone through since 2012. And if you listen to Lee Harris, you can see that he talks about the energy shifts that we had at 2012. And now that Saturn was in that sign of Scorpio then, and now that it's complete, we're able to really move out of this sort of depressed energy and into some more things that are more about exploring who we are through our self-expression and our own creativity and being truthful and honest with ourselves. That's Saturn in Sagittarius. All right, more. On June 16th, we have a new moon at 25 degrees of Gemini, back there in that area of your work and your daily routine. I'm glad the new moon is there. It's after the retrograde of Mercury, so that new moon is going to help us set new goals in relationship to what it is our everyday work and that routine is all about. So I want you to really ignite that new moon energy. Set some new goals and what you want your work to be like, what you want your daily routine to be like. You will really enjoy that. Be very, very vocal about it. All right, now let's finish up with June 21st is the summer solstice. That means the sun enters the sign of Cancer. That's your 7th house of partnerships and relationships. And on June 24th, Mars enters that area as well for 7 weeks. So you have, at the end of this 3-month forecast, and such a major focus on your daily life and your daily routine, we finally have the sun moving into your relationship sector and your partnership sector, so you're able to focus in on those things that are important to you in that category. Now, that's how life is. We just move from one to the other, to the next level, to the next level, and we keep moving forward. And there's times when we just have to sit in neutral. That's when those planets are retrograde. And then there's times when the eclipses come through and they say, hey, bam, take care of all of this now. And that's just what this whole spring is. This is all about spring. This whole forecast is mostly spring. So move with it. And then when we get into that summer solstice period, June 21st, take that and work with those partnerships, work with those new partnerships, and you're going to start creating some new ones as well. So I want to leave you with that. And again, thank you for watching. With gratitude, I can't do this without you here. So please share on your Facebook pages. Please come to mine, Dorothy Morgan Astrologer. Like that page if you haven't already. Contact me. My website live link is right below the video here. So please connect with me if you'd like to have your own private sessions, because this is my passion. This is what I do. I have a Capricorn moon, so I know how you guys are. You're logical and practical. If you've even listened this far, I would appreciate that. Thank you. Anyways, with gratitude. Blessed be. And namaste.